Satoshi Nakamoto is the mysterious inventor who created Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that has been making waves around the world in recent years. However, to this day, no one knows the true identity of this person. The creator of Bitcoin is believed to possess a massive amount of cryptocurrency, yet it has never been moved or used over the past 10 years. Perhaps it is this very mystery surrounding Nakamoto that has helped Bitcoin and the technology behind it maintain its allure to this day. In this video, we will explore the question, who really created Bitcoin? In the early 2000s, hardly anyone had ever heard of Bitcoin. In August 2008, the domain name bitcoin.org quietly appeared without attracting any attention. 2 months later, a paper titled Bitcoin, a Peer-to-Peer Electronic Cash System, was published. This was the first time information about Bitcoin began to spread widely. The paper also mentioned the mysterious figure known as Satoshi Nakamoto. Since then, people have always believed that he is the creator of Bitcoin. What's interesting is that before 2008, there was no record of any programmer named Satoshi Nakamoto. This has left many wondering why such a brilliant mind would choose to remain anonymous. Part 1. What are Bitcoin and blockchain? Bitcoin is a digital currency like money on the internet. It's not controlled by any bank or government, and no one can change it or cheat the system. Bitcoin works thanks to thousands of computers around the world. These computers check and record all transactions using a special technology called blockchain. One of the best things about Bitcoin is that you can send it without paying extra fees, and no one needs to know who you are. Bitcoin is created in a process called mining. Anyone can try to solve difficult math puzzles on their computer. If they solve one, they earn new Bitcoin as a reward. The very first Bitcoin ever made is called the Genesis block. People on the internet believe it belongs to a mysterious person or group named Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a single, indivisible unit. It can be broken down into even smaller units up to 100 million parts, called Satoshis, named after its creator. Each block in the blockchain contains a list of transactions along with information about the time and the amounts transferred. These blocks are linked together to form a continuous chain, the blockchain. This means that any user can access the entire history of transactions while the system still ensures security and prevents fraud. As a decentralized system, Bitcoin has no third party acting as an intermediary or controller. Mining is the process that helps verify transactions between users and prevents double spending or fraudulent activities. Users store their Bitcoin in digital wallets, which are long addresses made up of 27 to 34 characters used to send and receive Bitcoin. No one knows who owns which wallet address, giving Bitcoin its unique level of privacy. Each person can create an unlimited number of unique addresses, making it easy to send and receive Bitcoin quickly using a computer or mobile app. Part 2. Historic Bitcoin transactions. The era of Bitcoin officially began on January 1st, 2010 with the mining of the 32,620th Bitcoin block, which at the time was worth less than a single US cent. During the first 5 years, very few people paid attention to Bitcoin's potential, except for a small group of programmers and libertarian thinkers who supported the idea of personal freedom. However, in the latter half of the decade, more people started to realize the advantages of blockchain technology and Bitcoin itself. This marked the takeoff of the entire cryptocurrency market. On January 12, 2009, the very first Bitcoin transaction took place between Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, and Hal Finney, a computer scientist, the first person to receive Bitcoin and the developer who wrote the proof of work (POW) algorithm for Bitcoin. On May 22, 2010, a historic Bitcoin transaction took place when a Bitcoin user bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins, equivalent to $25 at the time. Today, that amount of Bitcoin would be worth around $1 billion. Since then, May 22nd has been celebrated as Bitcoin Pizza Day to commemorate this event. On June 23, 2011, the company Mt. Gox was on the verge of bankruptcy. At that moment, CEO Mark Karplus was forced to prove the company's financial stability and made a huge and extremely risky Bitcoin transaction worth 442,000 Bitcoins. Today, that amount would be valued at approximately $47 billion. In mid-2013, a mysterious transfer of 194,993 bitcoins sparked curiosity and speculation. The media began investigating this massive transaction. It was discovered that the bitcoins had come from a group of accounts that had been dormant for a long time, most of them dating back to February 2010. Many people suspected that the person behind this transaction could be Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin. On December 6th, 2013, a car dealership called Lamborghini Newport Beach in California sold a Tesla Model S electric car for 91.4 Bitcoins, which was worth about $103,000 at the time. Although the dealership did not officially accept Bitcoin, its payment service provider, BitPay, allowed customers to pay with Bitcoin and then automatically converted the amount into US dollars. On February 4th, 2014, a private jet charter service called privatefly.com began accepting Bitcoin as a payment method. The first flight, from Brussels to Nice, carried an entertainment celebrity, a tech entrepreneur, a founding member of the Bitcoin Foundation, and Bitcoin millionaire Olivia Johnson. While the exact price of the flight was not disclosed, CoinDesk estimated the total cost to be between 9.5 Bitcoins and 54.95 Bitcoins, depending on the size of the aircraft. After a multi-billion-dollar black market website, specializing in the trade of illegal drugs and goods across borders, was shut down, the US government seized no less than 144,000 Bitcoins. According to FBI data, between February 6th, 2011 and July 23rd, 2013, there were 1,229,465 transactions carried out on this website, involving 146,946 buyer accounts, generating a total of 9,519,664 bitcoins, equivalent to 1.2 billion US dollars at that time. Due to the impact of several destabilizing global events, such as Brexit and India's demonetization of high-denomination banknotes, Bitcoin surpassed the price of gold for the first time. At its peak on December 17th, 2017, the price of a single Bitcoin reached $19,783.06 compared to just $1,000 per Bitcoin on January 1st of the same year. There was even a $325 million real estate project called Aston Plaza and Residences in Dubai that accepted direct payments in Bitcoin from buyers. Part 3. Facing challenges. In the early days, Bitcoin users mined coins using regular personal computers. However, they soon realized that using multiple graphic cards at the same time allowed transactions to be processed much faster. Today, knowledge about Bitcoin mining, experience in building mining rigs, setting up factories, and troubleshooting errors is almost entirely shared publicly on the internet. Anyone with enough money, time, and effort can join this game, but things are no longer like they were in the beginning. Mining Bitcoin is no longer a matter of luck. Those who own large numbers of high-performance computers have a clear advantage and a much higher chance of successfully mining Bitcoin. The fierce competition among miners has reduced profit margins, forcing small-scale investors, who cannot cover the costs, to temporarily withdraw from the game. Massive Bitcoin farms in countries like China and Iceland operate thousands of computers running non-stop year after year, with costs reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars for equipment, factory space, components, electricity, and cooling systems. These farms are built in specific locations around the world simply because the electricity costs there are extremely low. As more and more people accepted Bitcoin, its value continued to rise. However, the rise of Bitcoin also faced many obstacles. The technology behind this cryptocurrency has been linked to various scandals. For example, in 2013, the FBI shut down the Silk Road, an underground website that mainly facilitated illegal drug trading using Bitcoin. Then, in 2014, the Mt. Gox cryptocurrency exchange was hacked, resulting in a loss of $450 million. At the end of 2017, speculative trading drove Bitcoin's price to nearly $20,000, which in turn sparked the creation of thousands of worthless crypto tokens, causing billions of dollars in losses for many investors. Even so, true believers in Bitcoin have not abandoned their ideal of a decentralized economy. A brand new ecosystem has emerged, forcing banks, businesses, and even governments to change the way they operate. Interestingly, many large corporations that once declared they would oppose Bitcoin are now among the strongest supporters of blockchain technology. As of now, there have been approximately 488 million transactions on the Bitcoin network since this leading cryptocurrency was created. These transactions are spread across more than 600,000 blocks and are maintained by around 10,000 nodes. At its current price, Bitcoin continues to show impressive growth, delivering returns far exceeding those of traditional stocks. Bitcoin is now considered a new asset class, sparking the birth of an entire generation of digital currencies. Its development has made the world take notice of blockchain technology and the countless products that have emerged from it. Today, blockchain has become one of the most talked about terms of the century. Many major companies frequently mention it, plan to use it, or have already integrated it into their operations, from FedEx to Santander and JP Morgan. Part 4. Has the mysterious creator of Bitcoin been revealed? Since the birth of Bitcoin, the community has never known exactly who Satoshi Nakamoto really is. Several theories have been proposed about Nakamoto's identity, and some people have even claimed to be him. One of the most famous is Craig Wright, also known as Faketoshi, who has repeatedly declared that he is the creator of Bitcoin. His claims sparked a legal battle, but new evidence has shown that Wright is not the real inventor of Bitcoin. This led to another suspect, Paul LaRue. Paul LaRue is a brilliant programmer who later became a drug lord and has been imprisoned since 2012. This could explain why his 1 million bitcoins riem A. Before turning to crime, Paul LaRue was known as an outstanding coder. According to Wikipedia, in 1997 he created E4M, a software. Both Paul LaRue and Satoshi Nakamoto were skilled programmers who preferred using the C++ programming language. Before Paul LaRue became known as a criminal, he was an excellent coder specializing in cryptography and privacy, much like Satoshi Nakamoto. Moreover, Paul LaRue once expressed ideals and visions that were strikingly similar to those of Satoshi Nakamoto. It is also believed that Satoshi's stash of 1 million bitcoins is hidden within encryption software based on the E4M code created by Paul LaRue. In addition, Paul LaRue is suspected of being a member of the anonymous development group known as TrueCrypt. This suspicion seems convincing because several of Paul LaRue's former colleagues believe that he was the person who created TrueCrypt. However, no concrete evidence has ever been found, so this remains an unsolved mystery. If anyone could have hidden 1 million bitcoins, it would be the creator of the TrueCrypt disk encryption software. In 2011, Satoshi disappeared, claiming he was moving on to other projects. Around the same time, Paul LaRue shifted his career from software development to becoming the leader of a major drug trafficking organization. During this period, Paul LaRue faced serious trouble as his company, RX Limited, came under heavy scrutiny by the US government and the DEA in 2011. Paul LaRue also began to vanish for extended periods when US authorities attempted to track him down. He was hiding in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, while planning his next move. This timeline reveals yet another striking coincidence between Paul LaRue and Satoshi's mysterious disappearance. Although all the evidence suggests that Paul LaRue could be Satoshi Nakamoto, there are still reasons to doubt this theory. In 2009, while Satoshi was carefully fine-tuning Bitcoin, Paul LaRue was already deeply involved in building a massive empire of drug and weapons trafficking. it would have been extremely difficult to manage such a criminal empire while simultaneously developing Bitcoin and responding to questions on forums. Therefore, some argue that Craig Wright may have fabricated the story about Paul LaRue to convince others that he controls the massive Bitcoin fortune. A final part, determined to unmask the creator of Bitcoin. In April 2019, John McAfee, a pioneer in computer antivirus software, claimed that he had been in contact with Satoshi Nakamoto and would soon reveal this person's true identity. However, McAfee did not provide a specific timeline for this revelation. Previously, he had told Bloomberg that he would unmask Nakamoto within a week, but later postponed his announcement. McAfee stated that Nakamoto is a man living in the United States. "I have spoken with him, and he is not very pleased with my intention to reveal his identity," McAfee said. However, McAfee's eccentric and impulsive personality has cast a shadow over his once respected reputation as a software pioneer. No one can be certain whether McAfee truly knows Nakamoto's identity, a mystery that countless people have tried and failed to solve. Nevertheless, McAfee insisted that he was uniquely qualified for this task, as he had spent his entire life tracking down hackers, cyber attackers, making him well suited to uncover Nakamoto's identity. "People have forgotten that I am a technology expert. I am one of the best," McAfee confidently declared. According to McAfee, revealing Nakamoto's identity could make him the target of lawsuits, and he might even be extradited to the United States for tax evasion charges. He wrote on Twitter, "I cannot risk it now. I'll wait. If Nakamoto is still alive, the price of Bitcoin could fluctuate dramatically." Nakamoto is believed to hold the largest amount of Bitcoin among the total of 17.6 million Bitcoins currently in circulation. Since the Bitcoin in Nakamoto's wallet has not been moved for over 10 years, many suspect that Satoshi Nakamoto has passed away. But if Nakamoto is still alive, this massive reserve of Bitcoin could one day be released into the market, putting enormous pressure on its price. In a way, Satoshi Nakamoto is playing the role of a real-life Robin Hood, trying to restore financial fairness for everyone. However, if his true identity is ever revealed, even if he manages to avoid the scrutiny of regulators, both Satoshi and Bitcoin will lose their viral appeal. The mystery and marketing effect that made Bitcoin so famous in the first place will disappear. Satoshi's anonymity has greatly contributed to people's curiosity and desire to learn more about Bitcoin. It's hard to guess what Nakamoto's ultimate goal really is, a true revolution in decentralization, or simply a tool created for the dark web. However, judging by the frenzy and influence Bitcoin has generated over the years, it's clear that staying anonymous was a very wise choice. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our latest videos to support our team.